2 days since the winter storm hit the Triad, work is still underway to get roads cleared. Crews have made progress, but overnight freezing temperatures mean ice could be an issue.
This morning, we want to know, what are the roads like near you? Text us a picture to 336-379-5775. Be sure to do it safely. Include your name and where you live.
And we'll check in with our live crews all across the Triad. We have continued team coverage in Greensboro and Winston-Salem this morning as we track road conditions and work that'll be done today. Lots of progress already made thus far. Welcome back to the Good Morning Show. It's 6:30 here on Tuesday. I'm Megan Baleros with Marissa Tancino, in for Tracy and meteorologist Ed Matthews.
Yes, Ed has been keeping a close eye on temperatures. It's chilly out there, Ed, which is causing some of those roads to freeze up and be slick.
Yeah, we're in that cycle of melting during the day and then refreeze at night. We had some nice melting yesterday, but certainly things have refrozen across the Piedmont this morning. So we take a look at temperatures. Everybody below the freezing mark this morning. We got many areas that are in the mid and upper 20s. We're at 25 at PTI, but Danville at 30, 25 over at Raleigh-Durham. The temperature at 25 in Charlotte, down to 22 now over at Boone. It's mainly clear across the area. I've been watching a fairly full moon, a little high thin cirrus cloudiness across the area, and we may see some of that today. Hence, rather than bright sunshine, I think a mostly sunny day here in our part of the Piedmont. But more snow and ice melt for us today with lighter winds as compared to the past several days. We'll see generally a westerly wind at about 5 to 10, and with a mix of sun and clouds, we're on our way to those lower 40s this afternoon. We'll look ahead in the Triad 7-day forecast coming up in just a minute.
The winter storm aftermath still playing out in the Triad this morning. Today, the focus is on getting those side streets cleared, but also watching out for those icy spots that may have frozen on cleared streets overnight. WFMY News 2's Denise McMiller is live in Greensboro, keeping an eye on conditions as you head out the door. Denise.
Well, right now we are standing in an empty parking lot, and there's a light dusting of snow, but underneath it is rock solid ice. And that is definitely a concern because there are roadways that look similar to this parking lot. Say, for instance, if we take a couple of steps over, this is Curry Street. Curry Street looks similar to the parking lot. It has snow that has frozen over, and underneath it is a good layer of ice. That makes for very dangerous, slippery road conditions here in the city of Greensboro. And as you mentioned, that is a big concern. This is what the city crews are going to be working on today. They're going to be working on plowing and salting these secondary side roads here in the city. Now, we do know that not all streets look like this. We know that East Florida Street is pretty clear. This is East Florida Street right here that you're taking a look at. This road is clear, and we do know that some of the interstates are just as clear as this road, but NCDOT says that this morning some of those interstates could be a concern as well.
But there are some places that need to be touched up that will drain. They'll melt today, drain across the road, and in the morning will be really, really icy and frozen.
But again, we do know that city crews are out here. We saw one drive past us a couple of hours ago. So they are actively working to tackle some of these side roads this morning. But it is a good thing that schools are deciding not to chance this, and some of these buses don't have to get out on these roads this morning because roads are definitely slick. But we will keep you updated on the roads that these city crews are working to get cleared.
We appreciate that. It is certainly good to see some progress. Ice, though, is still a concern, as you can see in this video from Forsyth County. Yeah, a pickup truck landed into a light pole and caused some issues last night. You'll want to be careful getting out and about this morning. Watch for those lingering slick spots. WFMY News 2's Sydney Moore is live in Winston-Salem. Sydney, you mentioned also the difference between these main roads and side streets.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm standing right by a main road right here on Marshall Street. You can see right here, we're gonna pan. You see how clear it is on this road, but then right next to it is a little bit of this side long patch of ice here that you definitely want to be careful when you're driving, because honestly, when you're in your car, it's easy to miss it. But as I'm standing out here, you definitely can see how close it is and how it touches this main road right here. Coming up here on this sidewalk, I'm not afraid to admit, as I walked up here, I almost slipped on the ice myself. Definitely still icy here. So if you do want to walk, as we've been seeing folks across the Triad walking, you definitely want to be careful, because here on this sidewalk is definitely still icy roads. Now, Megan, just like you said, comparing to those secondary roads and those neighborhood roads, is exactly why Winston-Salem Forsyth County schools are going to be closed today due to those roads, because they're not as clear as these primary roads. And also here in Winston-Salem that will be canceled are the sanitation collections as well too. Now, the city says it's due to the hazardous conditions from the storm, and this includes Tuesday's garbage, yard cart, as well as brush and leaf collection. So if you're expecting that, please know that they will be canceled because of these hazardous conditions. So if you're going to get out and you're going to drive, definitely be careful. And if you're going to walk, certainly be careful, because it definitely feels and looks like an ice rink out here in Winston-Salem.
Yeah, good point. EMS responded to several slip and fall incidents this weekend as well. Well, Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools is not the only district changing plans today. A few other districts are closed. Alamance Burlington is one of them. It's switching to online learning today, just to be clear. Again, Alamance Burlington Schools switching online learning today. Guilford County Schools was already closed due to a pre-planned day. You can see a list of other closings on WFMYnews2.com and scrolling at the bottom of your screen. This also includes delays for some businesses that plan to open a little later today.
6:36 is the time. Right now, let's get you caught up with your news to note in 90 seconds. Stokes County EMS says 5 juveniles were rescued from Ballew's Lake after a father reported them missing. The group went paddleboarding on the lake yesterday afternoon. One child got cold, so the father brought them back to the car. That's when he lost sight of the others. Multiple agencies responded, searching for them between the Pine Hall boat ramp and Humphrey Ridge. All the juveniles were taken to the hospital. We do not know their condition at this time, but we'll keep working to get an update. North Carolina lawmakers will decide if our state's primary election will be delayed once again. Right now, the primary is scheduled for May 17th, which is pushed back from its original March date. It's all because of lawsuits over the new district maps. Democrats claim they're illegal. Republicans say they aren't. The case is now at the state Supreme Court. The Senate will vote tomorrow on whether the primary should now be delayed until June 7th. The Guilford County Animal Shelter is getting on the Betty White Challenge, paying tribute to the late Golden Girl. White would have turned 100 yesterday. Since she was an animal advocate weeks after her death, shelters are paying tribute, raising money, and offering adoption deals. Guilford County Animal Services came up with the idea to do $17 adoptions since her birthday was on January 17th. The deal started last week and will continue through Sunday, January 23rd. That's a look at today's news in 90 seconds.
All right, the trending conversation this morning is what everybody is talking about, the aftermath of this winter storm and the snow and icy roads. Still factors, of course, and the big conversation. Most city crews are moving on to clearing secondary and neighborhood roads, but it'll take some time to do that. So what do the roads look like at your house or on your commute? Text us when it's safe to do so, 336-379-5775. Please include a picture if you can, as well as your name and location. So Diane lives in Lexington and on a dead-end road. She said it's a sheet of ice. The main roads yesterday were clear, but some spots wet, so she imagines they're ice now as well. Jared is in Haw River and said everything he has seen is pretty much clear. Scott shared a new picture of the so-called curve on Farmer Road in Ashboro. Christian mentioned yesterday this is an area infamous for getting slick and causing crashes. Scott said, "Be glad to know this road stayed accident-free during the winter storm. Ashboro is looking good today." Here are some more pictures. Look at this road in Summerfield. You can see the tracks where cars have gone through, but a lot of snow on that road, not looking like it has been touched by a plow. This viewer texted in from Cottage Place in Greensboro saying there is half an inch of solid ice and a hilly exit from the neighborhood. So pretty similar situations regardless of where you lived or how much you got. This continuously freezing air is not doing us any favors as far as cleanup.
No, it's not. I was walking down my walkway today and all of it, just a sheet of ice, even the snow, really packed down. And when you walk on it, it's hard and you can't break through it.
Yeah.
So it's tough out there, Ed. And you mentioned this melting, refreezing, melting, refreezing. If this condensation or water doesn't get a chance to evaporate, once it melts, then it's just going to refreeze again.
Absolutely. I tell you what, on my way into work, downtown streets, just a major improvement as compared to just 24 hours ago. They plowed the streets, but then underneath that snow and ice was another layer of ice that we had to deal with yesterday morning. Now we got above freezing, and the pavement dried overnight in some of those major streets downtown. So it was smooth sailing for me this morning, but you go off on these side roads and it is a completely different story, what we refer to as the secondary roads. They are still a big mess, but things are looking up and up for the major highways across the area and the busy inner city streets.
And even if you're cruising down one of those primary roads, like Bryan Boulevard, for example, you got to take it easy as you're getting off of that roadway. For example, those exit ramps aren't always clear. I found myself taking longer to stop as I was getting onto a side street on my way to work this morning. And I'm not only concerned about the driving conditions on some of these roads, but the slip and fall conditions as well. We heard first responders say that was a huge problem this weekend. Parking lots, even those that have been cleared, are now sheets of ice. So I worry about people walking to and from their cars this morning. So please wear good shoes if you can, and then just change when you get to work.
Yeah, and take it slow. You got to be careful whether you're walking or driving out there, for sure. 6:41 right now. We have much more coming up on the Good Morning Show. We'll be right back after this.
Well, back in 2020, no one thought we'd still be in the middle of a pandemic 2 years later. Yet here we find ourselves not only dealing with COVID, but also with another peak. We'll get a new update on metrics today after a break on Monday for the MLK Junior holiday. But in our latest state update on Friday, labs confirmed 35,000 new cases. They made up 31.6% of recent tests, a new state record. And hospitalizations also reached a new record with more than 4,300 patients getting treated for the virus. Right now, Cone Health is treating 259 patients, a small dip from last week's record high, and the ICU is still 87% full. The good news here, if there is such a thing, fewer patients statewide are needing ventilators. That said, the majority of hospitalized patients are unvaccinated, and due to the high contagion of Omicron, hospital administrators say they're dealing with staffing challenges, putting a strain on resources. Unfortunately, we're seeing pediatric hospitalizations increase. They are at more than 2% of all COVID hospitalizations, tied with the data mid-November for the most children admitted for COVID. It does appear more parents are getting their children protected against the virus. 2 months since the FDA authorized the child vaccine for the 5 to 11 age group, nearly a quarter has taken at least one dose. Nearly half of all 12 to 17-year-olds have at least one dose.
Good morning, Piedmont Triad. The time is 6:46. Mainly clear this morning. I've been keeping an eye on what I think is almost a full moon over in the western sky. Some high, thin cirrus clouds, but temperatures are at or below freezing, really below freezing at most locations. We're seeing temperatures into the mid and upper 20s, some readings right around the 30-degree mark. We're at 25 right now out at PTI Airport. High pressure building over the deep south, going to give us a couple of dry and quiet days weather-wise here in the Piedmont. We'll call it mostly sunny today, considering the fact that there may be some in and out high thin cirrus clouds across the area. That high pressure will move offshore, winds become southwesterly, and we'll start to see a buildup of clouds during the day on Wednesday. Now I expect Wednesday to be a dry day, but here comes our next cold front with some very cold Arctic air building in behind it, moving down out of Canada. This cold front will move into our area and bring some rain to the Piedmont during the day on Thursday. Maybe anywhere from a quarter to a half of an inch of rain, a possibility. And then we expect this front to move to the Carolina coast. This is around 2:30 on Thursday afternoon. You see the green showing rain in our part of the Piedmont, but behind the front, the colder air working in. So although we expect rain during the day on Thursday night, we may see some snow or a wintry mix. And then as we go into Friday, we may get a break in the action. Some of our models are developing a pretty significant low pressure area moving up the Carolina coast for Saturday. So I think Thursday night through Friday and maybe even into Saturday, bear watching. There's still a lot of disagreement between the computer models, but I would be prepared at least for the possibility of a little winter weather beginning Thursday night, but more likely into Friday and maybe into Saturday. Hopefully nothing like what we've just experienced here in the Piedmont, but again, jury is still out and we'll keep an eye on it and track it over the next several days. Today we're tracking a mostly sunny sky and 42. Tonight, partly cloudy, will drop into the mid-20s, around 26. Clouds build tomorrow with mid-40s. Rain on Thursday, maybe a wintry mix Thursday night and into Friday. And of course, all eyes will be on the weekend as well. It's going to get cold again. That is for certain.
6:49 right now. If you're heading out this morning, major roads like I-40 are clear of snow, but make sure you watch out for icy spots, and side streets still covered. Just taking a live look at I-40 right now. We'll get a live check on conditions from our field crews after the break.
Ten 9-876-54321. 10-9-876-54321. Okay. Okay.
Cleared. Sorry, I am dialed in now. I had hung up to get some video. All right, testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're talking about road conditions. Okay.
Let's get to it with a last look at today's top stories. With sub-freezing temperatures overnight and water still on the road, slick conditions are a concern and roads still need plowing. Many main roads and secondary roads are clear, but Itanise McMiller has been tracking how the side streets, the neighborhood streets, are different. Itanise?
Yes, well, it's 2 days after the winter storm, and still some of these streets are far from perfect. Take Curry Street here, for instance. This side street has not been plowed, and the overnight freezing has caused the layer of snow that was here to freeze over. So now we've got snow and ice on these side streets, making for very dangerous road conditions. But I will say there is some good news. Just about 5 minutes ago, we saw a truck driving down this road spreading salt. So they are out here, crews are out here working to spread salt and start to plow some of these side streets. So that is the good news, and we'll continue to bring you updates on where some of these crews are and how much work they have left to do to get these roads cleared. Back to you in the studio.
All right, Denise, thank you. Now let's go over to Forsyth County, where WFMY News 2's Sydney Moore is live in Winston-Salem. Sydney, how are things looking this morning?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm here on Marshall Street in downtown Winston-Salem, where you can see crews and plow trucks have came down this street and cleared some of this area, but you can still see on the side there's still a large patch of ice. It's definitely easy to miss while you're driving, but you can definitely see it if you have my view standing right next to it. Also down here on this side street, there's still some large patches of ice looking like an ice rink, so if you're walking, you definitely want to be careful. Now, those secondary roads and neighborhood roads are definitely the ones you want to look out for, which is why Winston-Salem Forsyth County schools will be canceled today. So if you're going to get out, you want to be careful. Now, we are told by the Department of Transportation they will be working to clear these roads through Wednesday.
We're going to see plenty of sunshine today. A little snow and ice melt as temperatures make it into the lower 40s. Refreeze with mid-20s tonight. Clouds build on Wednesday. It stays dry, but we warm into the mid-40s. We'll bring some rain in on Thursday. All eyes on Friday and maybe Saturday. Maybe another little round of wintry mix or some snow. We'll keep you updated.
Coming up at a special time this morning, join us for After GMS live on the News 2 Facebook page. We'll talk about all things winter storm aftermath, including updates on what roads look like as more people start their day and head back to work after the holiday weekend. Head to the News 2 Facebook page at 8 a.m. for After GMS.
Thank you for joining us today. Make sure if you do have to head out for work, errands, whatever, lots of people getting back to the day-to-day activities, take it slow.
Yeah, be safe. Thanks so much. Get out there and get to it. We'll see you later.